Huh? What? Hang on a sec. Yeah. Whoa. Whoa. What? New Hope, what are you doing here? Oh man, I totally forgot. We're filming for the church camp series today. Hey, just give me 1 second and I'll be right with you. Come on. Ugh. Ugh. Jeez. Oh. Oh. That's better. Hey guys, today in our church camp series, I want to talk to you for a few minutes about this idea of wanting to go home. Have you ever been somewhere and you wanted to go home? I have that feeling in a pretty major way every single time I go camping, because that might be a pretty nice tent, but it's nowhere near as nice as my bed in my air-conditioned house. And you know, it's interesting, there were a number of times, really a couple I can remember very vividly as a kid, when I went to camp and I just had these moments in the week where I wanted nothing more than to go home. I think one year even asked and sort of begged and pleaded a little bit to be able to call my parents and ask for that. It just wasn't fun for me. It wasn't what I wanted. Maybe over a few days I wasn't building sort of friends, or maybe some of my friends I anticipated or expected to be there weren't there. Have you ever felt this way? Maybe it was at a church. Maybe it was during a sermon series. Maybe it was part of a specific message when God wanted to talk to you about something you just weren't comfortable with or really ready to deal with, and so you didn't want to go there. There's this really cool passage that talks about our bodies as these earthly tents that are being destroyed. And I want you to listen to what the Apostle Paul says to us here in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 8, in this letter to the church at Corinth. He says, "We are confident and would prefer to be away from our body and at home with the Lord." Basically, Paul here is saying, I want to go home. And, this life is hard. There's never enough money, there's persecution, I've been near death many times. I would like to go home. It would be better for me to go home. Now, he's not talking about being in a tent like I was just in and wanting to go home to my air-conditioned house. He's saying, I really want to go home, and it's better for me, and in fact, it's better for all of us. But don't miss this. He says, but as long as God has me here, I'm going to lean in, and I'm going to do whatever he has for me here and whatever he has for me right now. Man, which is something that we could learn from, that perspective that this isn't our home, but man, as long as we're here, we're going to make the most of this, and we're going to learn more about Jesus, and we're going to help other people to do the same as well. So when I think back to those 2 years at camp in my childhood when I desperately wanted to go home, I want you to know I am so glad that I didn't eject and go home. Because the friends that I made and the experiences that I had, because I pushed past that and I pushed through it, were things that have marked me the entire rest of my life. You know, it's interesting. One of the reasons I love to go camping to this very day is because when I get to places like this and all of a sudden my cell phone no longer works, and maybe it's hot outside, I don't have my air conditioning, all of the comforts that distract me and keep me comfortable, they go away. And all of a sudden, I'm forced not to use those or rely on those. And maybe my life is a little bit less enjoyable, but I'm more exposed to the reality of God. And I see him and experience him in ways that open my eyes and change my life. So here's the thing. I'm praying for us today that just like me, when I want to go home but I don't, and I stick in, especially in remote places like this, the thing that happens is it really helps me to focus on my real house and my real home, which is God. May that be what we experience today, as we don't look to all the stuff we have, but as we look to Jesus.